I was thinking about this concept of the dark and how when I was growing up, I actually was extremely terrified of the dark. I didn't like it. I know, me too. I didn't like it. I slept with a nightlight on probably up until my mid 20s, if I can say. It was always a blue light. I had to have something in my bedroom. There was no way. Even I watched this old show called Are You Afraid of the Dark? I used to watch The Twilight Zone. It was all very seedy, and I was terrified of it. And I remember there was just one day where I was like, you know what? Let me actually try sleeping without a nightlight on. Let me just try it. Let me just see how it goes, right? So I turn the light off. It's like pitch silence. I love when like everything's in the dark, it's silence, right? That it just happens to always be in a perfect balance like that. And I was getting a little nervous, but I started to maybe after an hour start to like relax into the fact that I was in the dark. And I had a perfect sleep when I woke up. You know, I said, you know what? Time to throw out the nightlight. I'm done with it. I can sleep in the dark now. And when I launched into this spiritual practice, when I launched into yoga, it asks you to kind of delve deep into what we call shadow work, right? In the shadows of our depths and our fears and our doubts and anything that we kind of cast as a negative is going into the depths of who you are, both the good and the bad. And typically we give the darkness such a bad rep, right? Oh, we don't want to use the darkness. Oh, we want to stay in the light. You know, love and light all day, positive vibes only, good vibes only. Do not come bad vibes, you know, don't enter, all that good stuff. And when I realized like this practice is basically teaching us that you can't have light without the dark, right? That in order to fully appreciate light, you have to know what darkness is. And it teaches us that, you know, we are these perfect, imperfect specimens where we have dark and light within us. And it's our job and it's kind of our duty to sit in our authentic truth and acknowledge the fact that we have all these different particles that make us up, that make us who we are. I love this quote, which always kind of went like this, saying, we're not humans having a spiritual experience, we're spirits having a human experience, right? And it's always this acknowledgement that being human, we kind of have to have this duality of light and dark. We have to have this duality of ebbs and flows in our life. And just like the seasons, we have this beautiful light when it comes into summer, and then we have the darkness, and it's like cyclical. And that's the way our lives are. It's cyclical. Goes around and around and around. But as yogis, you know, it's taking those moments in the dark and asking ourselves, what is being in the dark teaching us, right? Is it teaching us that through this fear, through this doubt, through these moments of trials, can we find the light somewhere? Can we find a sense of faith? Can we find a sense of hope? And in the moments of light where everything is going so wonderful, can we also recognize that there could be moments where we can fall into the darkness, which makes us appreciate the light that is here. And that's what I love about this practice, because it teaches us to be really comfortable with this idea of impermanence. It teaches us to be comfortable in the present moment and to breathe and to be authentically and holistically ourselves. And being whole is purely just about understanding that there's all these different particles, good, bad, ugly, glorious, inspiring, and all this other stuff that makes up who we are as a person. And this practice teaches us that falling in love with ourselves, when we do that, we fall in love with the good and the bad. We fall in love with the dark and the light. And that's what makes us who we are.